What's up? Brandon Lilly here. To jump it right into one of the questions that I was asked pretty heavily right after the last video was about the Cube Predator book, releasing more of the Cube Predator as I've released the bench program, but I've actually tweaked it some more than what was released. But the book that I'm going to be bringing to the table is in an effort to be as comprehensive and as detailed as possible. I do not want to release a book, methodology book again. The Cube Method book was the method, okay? 365 Strong was an evolution of the method. What I am doing now is not only an appreciation for the method that I created, the Cube Method, but that's also mixed with me looking at other methodologies, understanding training better, being more open-minded to different variations of training instead of being like stuck in one lane. So the Cube Method, as I stated last time, the principles are the same as far as there is rotation of the intensities, but I've taken a lot more guidance from outside sources. I would say anybody that looked at the original Cube Method would see that there was a heavy influence from the conjugate system. Makes sense, that's what I was used to training. There was some ideas that I'd used from the 5-3-1, 5x5, some very basic systems that I'd used along the way, but I've been trying to read much more into different kinds of training styles, a lot of stuff from different coaches in other fields, and apply it back to powerlifting. So what I'm trying to actually achieve with this book is a comprehensive A to Z book on training. Whether you want to be the best powerlifter in the world, there will be that for sure. But also, if you just want to be a strength enthusiast, if you want to be, I'm not trying to get outside my lane and say this is for a strongman book or a thrower's book or whatever, but it will be, hopefully, a place where you can go to for information and build a program for your needs, and also have information in there. Basically, I talked about something on Facebook and Instagram today that is very important to me. So, and that was the timeline of training children, and that's going to be in the book. For example, I say that most children should be started around 4 years old in some type of gymnastics. Why? It gives them body awareness, it teaches them balance, it gives them flexibility, and it focuses on body weight for strength development. Then around 6 years old, I think something along the lines of wrestling or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I spoke about the martial arts is really good for children because it teaches them discipline, it teaches them self-respect, it teaches them respect of others. It also, the reason I like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling is because it teaches them to stay calm in stressful situations. And I think as any parent can say, you know, kids kind of have this reactionary freak out when things don't go their way. Well, in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class, you're on your back with someone equal or bigger size usually on top of you trying to gain control of you. And if you freak out, it's a bad day. But if you stay calm and you think your way through things, you can find success. And I think that's a very, very good life lesson that you can start ingraining in a child at 6 years old. Plus, it lends themselves to confidence, you know, down the road as far as having the know-how to take care of themselves if, in fact, they were ever faced with a threatening situation. The one thing I will say about martial arts that I think is very good is that they don't teach the martial art to go out and be a bully. You know, one of the good gyms around here, Four Seasons, that's actually a rule, is that if you do go out and start trouble, you can be kicked out. You know, but if you defend yourself or something like that, it's a different story. But if you're the instigator, it's a real problem. So, and then on to 9 years old, the introduction of weights at certain percentages and a gradient based on your body weight. Never lifting more than your body weight, usually in the 75 to 80% range of body weight for the squat, 50% or so for the bench press with dumbbells, unilateral training, and then up to 100%, but no more for the deadlift at 9 years old. Now, before anybody jumps on the boat and says, oh, that's terrible, each child is different. Each child should be coached appropriately. They should be coached on movement over weight on the bar. And furthermore, not everyone is credible to coach a child. It should always be a highly positive situation. It should always be encouraging to the child, and movement-based patterns are going to be the most important part of the spectrum at this point. You're laying a foundation. Nobody cares what a 9-year-old can squat. If it becomes about you, if it becomes about the parent talking at the watering hole, about how strong their kid is, you've already missed the boat. It should be about developing your child in a way that's positive, constructive for the child. That's going to be a big element within the book, is strength development through a lifetime. And like I said, strength development for me, I used to only focus on the actual weight on the bar. 5 more pounds is the only way to progress. I was speaking yesterday again on Facebook and Instagram about condensing your training time, so doing the same amount of work in less time. I voice that for me, working out alone, I tend to, with my dynamic warm-up and stretching, I get through in an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. That's including all my sets, all my accessories, and I broke it down into an equation in those two, in Instagram and on Facebook, if you want to check that out. But there's no reason that as one person, or even 2 or 3 people, because when I'm not lifting, I should be spotting and loading while someone else is lifting. That's still my rest time. I like to take 90 seconds to 60 to 120 seconds between my main lifts. Now on a really heavy day, 4 to 5 minutes maybe, but for the most part, it's boom, lift, rest, boom, lift, rest, boom, lift, rest. And then onto my accessory work, I kind of set things up in a sequence where if I'm doing triceps on a bench day, I do them, and then I don't sit there and wait 30 seconds to do my next tricep movement. I'll go do lat pull downs because it's a different muscle group that's not already taxed. So then I'll kind of do a circuit around and around and around, and instead of having a rest period, I don't have any rest period. I might take a 30-second or a 60-second or a 90-second rest after the entire circuit, but that still minimizes the rest period for the entire lifting time. So those things, those ideas, those I guess progressions in my way of thinking are going to be in that book. And for me, that's important, so people can look at it and say, okay, here's a guy who 3, 4, 5 years ago was saying the only thing that mattered was the total on the bar, and now he's saying mobility is important, flexibility is important, nutrition is extremely important, hydration is extremely important, supplementation is important, rest is important, recovery. And that's, again, I say this over and over and over, when I'm talking to some of the top guys, the guys that everyone is looking up to and chasing as far as numbers, I'm chasing those people too. So when we talk to each other, the conversation is very seldom on programming. It's on what are you doing as far as your diet? What are you doing as far as your recovery? How much are you sleeping? Have you tried cryotherapy? Have you tried acupuncture? Have you tried massage? And it's all of these things. And I think that was kind of the light bulb for me, was we can all get to similar destinations through programming. Methodology is just a foundation point for your training. And if you have to believe in what you're doing to be successful at it, I think that's a very important thing. But there are multiple ways to get there. And all these people that go on and on and on about the science-based training and so on, here's the thing. Science is law. In science, there's one way that a law works, and that's true of every situation. Now, we have theories, we have hypotheses. That's what a methodology is. I'm giving you, as a Cube method, my theory or my hypothesis on what will work for you, because I found that it works for me and others. So it's not a law. There's no law that says the Cube method is best. There's no law that says Shaco is best. There's no law that says Westside is best or anything like that. They're all theories based around scientific information that we've built. But the greatest variable of all is the human body. How we recover, how I recover versus the next guy, how my body digests food versus the next guy, how I sleep versus the next guy. It's all variable. So there is no law when it comes to diet. There's no law when it comes to training. There's no law when it comes to recovery. They're just theories. And that's what I'm trying to compile, is the best format for the theories that I believe in for you guys to read and hopefully understand, and then be able to apply them to other areas that you believe or understand and compare and contrast. This is hopefully going to be a very good informational book. And for me, you know, as a lifter, but also as a rider and as a coach, my goal is to walk into a strength coach's office one day and there's my book. You know, this coach at a collegiate level or whatever level deemed it worthwhile to have that in his library of strength training. That's what I'm going for with this book. And a little bit of a wrap up here. I know that I said I was going to be doing video every day. I got a new camera to make this possible. I also bought some editing software to help me out make the videos. I was doing some stuff there for a little bit, but it was all on my phone, and it was kind of a headache to try to do a lot of the editing stuff. Now I've got one for my laptop. I just picked my laptop back up. I got a Mac, and the motherboard or whatever, I don't know what it's called, kind of went on the fritz. So when I bought it, or when I got it fixed, I bought a new editor for movies, and hopefully I can do a lot of cool stuff. The foundation for this, the whole entire time, was to follow my travels, follow my daily life, you know, show you guys as much of a window into who I am, what I do, how I train, so on and so forth. And lastly, I know these videos have gotten long and drawn out with me just talking to a camera, but it's been because I've really wanted to formulate how I'm going to be training moving forward. I posted a video the other day on Instagram talking about how I've done some high intensity circuit training, a lot of conditioning type stuff. I'm in the process of trying to further my body weight down while improving my composition. My goal is to get my body weight down to 290, get there, and then give myself a 5 to 7 pound window, you know, where I can be up a little bit as I'm gaining, hopefully, muscle mass, trying to improve my composition. Being at 290 will allow me and afford me to do two things. One, it will allow me to, you know, get a little bit heavier and go as a 308, a 140 class, or it will allow me to clean up my diet a little bit further, hopefully get myself down in the 285, 282 range, and then a very, very simple 24-hour, you know, water manipulation to make 275s. I want to be a better lifter, but I also want to be a healthier lifter, and I want to be a healthier athlete. And that's one thing that for me has really taken precedence, is understanding that I focused on the training so hard and I did everything else poorly, but I was able to maintain a good total. So my belief is, if I do all the other things well now and I still focus on my training, that I will be able to maximize my total and even surpass my previous total in a better way at a lighter body weight and so on. That's the goal. That's the project at hand. There's no promises. There's no guarantees. That's why we live, to take chances and fulfill dreams. And that's what I'm doing now. So thank you guys for watching. I promise starting tomorrow, you will get some training videos. You will get a lot more of me talking, because I want to be as transparent and share as much information as I can. So thank you. Share the video, like the video, comment below. I'll try to engage you as much as I possibly can, and let's make some great things happen. Thanks.